Hey y'all, it's Megan. Welcome back to the channel. Glad y'all are here today. Come spend a little time with us this evening. First thing on the list, don't know if we'll get anything else done, but the first thing on the list is we're gonna shell some of our popcorn you saw us pick here a couple weeks ago and see if it's ready for us to shell all of it. Yeah, we gotta make sure it's dry enough.
We're just gonna do a test run.
We're gonna do a test, yeah.
If it is ready, we're gonna shell it all.
Yep. So, we've been letting it dry here in our greenhouse. We've been using this for everything except plants, but it's working out good. These are me and the kids' little art projects. We even use it for drying our clay.
So right here is a popcorn sheller. It's just like a hand field corn sheller, but the popcorn sheller is smaller in the center, so it works good with popcorn, because popcorn has a smaller cob than regular corn.
Well, especially this Japanese horse.
It's not going to take much at all. How much do you want me to get?
A little bit more.
I'm going to say it's going to be ready because you can hear it rattle when you try to shake it off. So the reason we're going to be testing it is because popcorn has to be dry-ish when you go to pop it. It can't have a whole lot of moisture in it because it won't pop, but it does have to have some bit of moisture in it because that's what makes the kernel explode when you do pop it, when you heat it up.
So, funny story, the very first year, which has been a few years ago now, that we grew popcorn for the first time, we were so excited to try our fresh popcorn. So we shelled it, well, we picked it and we shelled it the same day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we picked it and we shelled it, and we ran up to the house to go pop it because we were so excited, and it didn't pop at all. And we were so disappointed. And so you called your grandma, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Andy called his grandma, and she said, well, don't you know it's got to be dry before it'll pop? And ever since then, we learned our lesson.
Yep.
So if this is your first year growing your own popcorn, and for some reason you go to pick it and shell it and it don't pop, it's probably not dry enough. So when you're making stovetop popcorn, you just need you a pretty deep pot and a lid and some kind of grease. I always use lard, a good tablespoon, enough grease to cover the bottom of my pan, what I'm after. Should be enough. Alright, all my grease is melted. I got my heat on about medium. This is a gas stove, so my medium may be a little hotter than your medium. But my grease is all melted. Just going to pour that in there. Give it a little shake. Make sure you just got no kernels or kind of piled on top of themselves. We'll put our lid on there.
And most likely, some of it will pop. Our test is to see if
at least most of it should pop, yeah. I mean, of course, you're going to have kernels that don't pop, just like you do with popcorn from the store, but you want most of it to pop.
Right.
It's starting.
Already?
There's 1, 2, 3.
Look at that. That's fast. That was fast.
And the reason you want a lid is to hold the heat and the steam in, but also you'll have popcorn light all over your kitchen.
But it's cool to have a pot with a clear lid so you can watch it.
Exactly.
I was really worried that wasn't going to pop where those kernels look cracked. And
nah, ain't nothing to worry about.
So evidently it's all right.
Then you want to give it a shake here and there. Oh yeah, that's popping.
That's popping really good.
Wonderfully. Oh boy, it's going to be so good.
We finally got fresh popcorn.
And once it starts slowing down, you go ahead and take it off your heat.
What the amazing part is how few kernels it looked like we had in there, and it's going to fill this pot.
It's going to be close.
I believe it's slowing down. Now, if you're like my daddy and like burnt popcorn, you just leave it on there for a little bit longer
until you start smelling it.
Yeah, until you start smelling it.
I only seen a couple that didn't pop that come out there on the bottom.
And it smells good.
Put you a little salt. Give it a little shake. So now, the ultimate test. We're going to taste it and make sure it's good.
Kids are going to be mad.
I know.
We're trying it without them.
Oh, yeah.
It's good, ain't it?
That's really
That
good.
is so much better than what we was popping last year.
It is, ain't it? This Japanese hulless. So they're really tiny popcorn kernels. I mean, they make little ones. But it is so tender and it's so good. And I think it makes better popcorn than that hybrid popcorn we used to grow. Not to say there's hybrids that don't make this little corn like this. I don't know.
What we used to grow, this is way better flavor.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah.
The texture and everything.
It's tender.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's tender.
Well, I'm going to say that's a pass. What do you think? We know what we're going to be doing.
Yep.
Well,
Let's go do it.
I better go holler for the kids.
Well, this year we don't have very much to shell at all.
No, I'm talking about for this.
Oh, and let them know?
Let them have some
I
popcorn.
thought you was going to put them to work and tell them they need to be shelling.
Well, you got one sheller.
I don't know. Well, we need to get us a clean 5-gallon bucket. Y'all got the cats in the cage again. We have fresh popcorn up there. Y'all want to go eat it? Me and Mama's going to go down here and shell this up, the rest of this. It's not much.
Okay.
And don't pay any attention to that thermometer right there. It's not right.
Yeah, it is not 120 degrees in here. It is hot in here, but it's not 120 degrees. So I'm just getting all this out of here because we're going to stand outside the greenhouse where it's a little bit cooler to shell it. Alright, can you grab that one?
Alright.
So like I said a while ago, we're going to use this little hand sheller. Now you can shell it by hand too, and we've only got one of them, so Megan will be shelling by hand. But it just makes doing this so much easier. And you still probably got to go through and clean a few off by hand. But so if you don't have one of these shellers like this right here, a lot of people will take and rub two ears together like that to get them started. However, I never really liked doing that. My favorite way to shell corn by hand without a sheller is shell me off like a whole run down the side, and then you can twist like that right there and the kernels come off pretty easy. So just do like that right there with your thumb. And see, that opens it up, and then when you twist it, you'll roll all those kernels off. Just like that right there. And there you go.
Mama, if we're going to eat this tonight, we can. Like a husband going to eat popcorn.
You think so? Well, Megan's gonna have it all eaten for tonight.
It's going to take us a little bit here.
Yep.
Golly, Mama.
Tiger, you aim to jump in here and help us?
No, well, I'm just supervising. Put the top in there. I had that one looking at one like this. I had like this.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't working now.
It's hard to get it started. You want to use a sheller?
Can I get it started with that?
You want to use a sheller?
Yeah.
Then let me do some by hand.
Mm-hmm. Hello, where are you playing? I like using the sheller.
I know. I don't like doing it by hand. It hurts your hands.
You're right, Daddy.
Huh?
I wish they made a popcorn sheller where you go like this.
Well, that hybrid popcorn we used to grow, we used that sheller on.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
But this is too little.
What? Wasn't that popcorn like orange or something?
But weevils, if you don't know much about corn, weevils, I don't know exactly how this works. But I've always heard weevils are in all corn.
but I think they're in the cob.
Maybe? I don't know.
I don't know either.
What a weevil is a little bitty bug that gets into the kernel, and it'll eat the heart of the kernel out, and then it eventually turns into a moth. And then it'll just kind of, fly around. But if you go back and watch our popcorn shelling video from last year, you'll see that that's what we run into.
In all of it.
We had a mess.
In all of it.
And ever since then, the weevils have been all in that building. Them little moths that come from them. One way you can test your corn to see if it's getting close to being ready to pop or shell is, first off, is how easy it comes off the cob. If it comes off the cob really easy, well, it's most likely dry. And you can also take that cob and sort of twist it back and forth, and if it makes like a loose, rattly sound, it's dry then too.
Hold it in there so it'll shoot off in there. There you
Like
go.
it right there. You can, if you twist it hard and you just hear the kernels, you know it's ready.
It definitely tastes fresher though, I think, when you grow your own.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That we just
You can
eat
tell
right there.
you can tell the freshness.
It tastes gooder.
Yeah, you can tell the freshness most definitely. Which, I mean, I kind of was questionable about it when we grew it the first time because I was like, are we really going to be able to tell the difference in like popcorn, like really? But
Yeah.
it's definitely, you can
Sure.
you can taste the freshness.
I would say that's probably the biggest difference is the freshness.
Yeah.
And you get to pick what variety you grow. I mean, if you go to the store and buy a bag of popcorn to pop, unless it's
Like an Amish store.
like an
or something.
Amish store or something,
Yeah.
I've never seen anything else that listed what variety of corn it was.
And plus it's fun.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's a fun little project for the kids to do.
I had to use the sheller because,
Got to get it started.
yeah.
And I mean, what better way for your kids to enjoy a snack than to know they grew the snack? Is that right, Maggie?
Yeah.
And my guess, I mean, I reckon popcorn's a pretty healthy snack, isn't it?
I would say so, yeah. I don't know why it wouldn't be.
Ooh.
But between Andy and the kids, not so much, but as long as Mama cooks it, we'll go through some popcorn.
I can cook it too. It's not that hard to cook.
I'm gonna remember that next time.
I know.
I'm gonna remember that.
You just do it better than I do.
Right? There's
Like
no.
everything that goes on that stove, if you touch it, it tastes better.
You keep telling yourself that.
I keep telling you that. For our cleaning setup, I hope this 5-gallon bucket's going to work because you really need something that's got a little bit bigger opening on it, because what we're going to do is have the fan blowing, and we're going to keep pouring from one to the other until we're done seeing stuff blow out of it. And this is pretty much how any type of seed cleaner or anything works. It blows wind through the seed and blows all the chaff and the other stuff out of it. And so our goal is to get out all of the silks and all of those loose pieces that come off the cob and stuff, and even some of the bad kernels like that. It'll blow that out because it doesn't have quite the weight to it that the good kernels do. You can use a regular box fan for this, or you can even do it on a windy day. That would work too. I'm gonna put it on the low setting. Try a little bit first, see if this is gonna work. Back away a little bit. You see all the stuff blowing out? Then we're just going to keep repeating that process until we don't see that much stuff blowing out anymore. I'm gonna say one more time will be good.
Yeah, it didn't look like as much come out that time.
We've got a pretty clean looking batch of popcorn here now. There is still some bad kernels in there, like that didn't get blowed out. But if we continued to clean, it probably would. But we got mainly what we wanted to get out of it. Like, this is just for us, so it's not like we're selling it or anything, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But
look at all this that come out of it.
There's a lot to come out of it. I mean, and I see some good kernels that come out of it too, but I mean, that's okay. But for the most part, we got what we wanted. We got all the all the silks out of it. We got most of the bad looking kernels out of it. We got any piece of the corn cob that was in it out of it. And that's what we wanted. So I would say that popcorn right there, that's way more than enough to last us a year, ain't it?
Probably, I'd say so.
Like, I mean, because it don't take but that much
about
when you
cup,
sit down
yeah.
and cook it.
It's about a cup, yeah.
So I guess we turned out pretty good.
Yeah, considering especially that we didn't think we was going to get any at all.
That's right. It really is. I don't know that we would have enough to plant back for seed at the end of the year once we're done with this, but I'm not going to worry too much about that no way. So we're going to use this jar right here to eat out of for now.
And I'll just refill it.
Yeah. All right. And the rest of it we're going to put in freezer bags.
I try to do it.
Yeah, scoop it and put it in there. So for storing the popcorn, I suppose you could probably put it in a freezer. I know I actually said in the last video that we were doing about the popcorn about putting it in a freezer, but I've been thinking about that. We've never actually stored it in a freezer. We've always just kept it in the house after we shelled it. But I think as long as you keep it in a cooler, spot in your house or something, you would be fine. I definitely would not put it in a refrigerator because the refrigerator will cause it to have too much condensation and stuff in it. But we've done a little bit more research, and from what we found, that's pretty. From what we found, if you put it in the freezer and the freezer could cause what moisture's in, will cause what moisture's in the seed to freeze. And once it freezes, water expands when it freezes, and it'll cause the cell structure inside the kernel to bust and rupture. So I don't think I'm going to put ours in the freezer this time. I think we're just going to keep it in the house, keep it in these airtight bags here. But I'd say as long as you've got it in a cool, dark spot in your house, you'll be fine with it. Somewhere that's dry. All right. So if any of y'all have grown popcorn and you actually stored it in the freezer and then pulled it back out and it still popped afterwards, let me know. Because I'm actually learning a little bit more about this myself. You know, as y'all have seen in the past, we're not the greatest at saving and storing seeds. So let me know what you guys do in the comments. But I think for now, for us, we're just going to leave it in these bags like this and lay it in the house and keep it that way. Jacob, I think, yeah, I was going to say just go ahead and pour that all in there. Look at that. We got 2.5 gallon size freezer bags full and a, what was that, a quart jar? That's all right there. That sure is pretty.
Well, guys, it's actually the next day. I'm fixing to chop up some of my peppers, and I wanted to show y'all how I freeze those. We had some company come by last night, and we visited for several hours. It was real good to see them. And so I didn't get around to getting my peppers chopped up, but I wanted to show y'all the process that I do to freeze them, and it worked out real well last year. And my peppers, I've still got a little, like half a bag of peppers left in my freezer from last year, and they really come in handy when I'm cooking and stuff. So let's get those chopped up. I'm going to use my food processor. This makes the process so much quicker. Y'all, I used the fire out of this thing. It was the best purchase I ever made. I've had this one for several years now. It's a Ninja 9-cup food processor. And like I said, it makes the process just so much quicker. The first peppers I'm going to cut up are my sweet peppers. Last year, I just chopped up everything at the same time. And I just put it all in one bag. Well, what I ran into was, you know, say I'd be cooking something and I wanted a little more heat. Well, all my peppers were mixed together. I didn't know what kind of peppers I was putting in there. So this year, I'm going to separate sweet and hot peppers. That way, if I want to add heat, I know which ones the hot peppers are. I had a viewer send me a de-seeder for my peppers, and this little thing really does make it a little easier because you can just run around inside there. This right here. It's like a little circular knife, but where I'm using my food processor, I don't get too carried away with how I cut these up. I just usually like cut them in half like that. And I'll just fill this thing up. Right now I'm doing my banana peppers. That little thing makes it quite a bit easier than trying to run my knife around through there. I'm loving these little kitchen gadgets. That's so small, I ain't even gonna cut it. I don't get too carried away with the seeds. I just try to get most of them out. Alright, that's about as full as I want it there. So we're just going to chop those. Just chop them to the consistency that you like to cook with. I don't know. I like chunks about the size of my thumbnail, maybe a little bigger. Now right here I've got 2 cookie sheets that I've got wax paper on. So we're going to freeze these actually on the cookie sheets. Just going to freeze them for a few hours and then I'll put them in a gallon-sized freezer bag. And if there's any chunks in here that are too big, I just add them back to the food processor. And I just kind of spread them out. Now this may take a few sessions, you know, of flash freezing a piece of pepper, but see, like, that piece right there is almost too big, but hey, I ain't worried about it. All right, we'll chop up some more. So I'm going to show you how this works. You just run that down in there. You can actually, I think, cut the top off with this thing. I tried that. The knife works better. Just cut the top off and then run that down in there. It just works better to flash freeze them. That way they're not frozen, just a giant chunk of chopped up peppers. They're all kind of separately frozen. So that way I can just reach in the freezer bag, get me a handful of peppers out, and, you know, just get out what I need. Because if they're all frozen together, I mean, believe me, I've done it. They're all frozen together. You have to, like, beat it over the counter and try to break you a chunk off. It just works a lot better this way. So, like I said, what I'll do is I'll put these in the freezer, probably 3 or 4 hours, long enough for them to get pretty frozen. And then I'll take them off the pan, put them in a gallon-sized freezer bag, put the date on them, and they're ready to go. And so, hopefully, they'll keep as good as the ones did last year. But I guess that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you might have learned a little something. And anyways, till we see y'all on the next one. Y'all have a good one.